There are some surahs in the Quran that strike like lightning, short, sharp, yet carrying within them a thunder that echoes through time. Surah Al-Masad is one of these. At only 5 verses, it condemns Abu Lahab, the uncle of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his wife, promising them an eternal destiny of fire. Yet behind the apparent harshness of this surah lies a profound ocean of spiritual wisdom. The Sufi gaze does not see it as a mere historical curse upon 2 individuals, but as a mirror, reflecting inner realities within each human being. This is not just the story of Abu Lahab and his wife. It is the story of you and me. It is the battle between light and fire within the soul. If we allow the fire of ego, pride, and hatred to consume us, then we too become companions of the same flame. But if we allow the light of love, surrender, and humility to take root, we inherit the eternal radiance of divine closeness. Let us step verse by verse into this surah with the heart of a seeker, with ears open not just to sound, but to meaning, and with eyes turned inward, ready to see the reflection of these words in the secret chambers of the soul. Verse 1. Perish the hands of Abu Lahab, and perish he. On the surface, this verse is a declaration of destruction upon Abu Lahab, the Prophet's uncle, who stood as one of his fiercest enemies. His hands symbolize his actions, his efforts, his struggle against the truth. Every plan, every scheme, every effort he made was destined for ruin. But the Sufi interpretation looks deeper. Abu Lahab literally means father of flame. The Quran here is not only speaking about one man, but also addressing the eternal symbol of the nafs al-amara, the commanding self, the ego that burns with arrogance, hatred, and envy. The hands of Abu Lahab represent the faculties of our being when they are enslaved to the ego. When our hands work in service of pride, our feet walk in service of anger, our tongue moves in service of envy, then all those efforts are destined to perish. The seeker must ask, is there an Abu Lahab inside me? That fire of arrogance, that stubborn resistance to truth, that refusal to bow before love, it lurks within every heart. The Quran, by cursing Abu Lahab, is inviting us to curse the inner idol of ego and arrogance within ourselves, to destroy it before it destroys us. Verse 2. His wealth and whatever he earned will not avail him. Here the Quran reminds us of a timeless truth. Wealth, status, and worldly accomplishments cannot save the one who has set himself against the divine. Abu Lahab was rich, respected, and powerful among the Quraysh. Yet all his possessions became dust in the face of divine decree. Sufis see this as a warning against the illusion of ownership. Whatever we own in this world is but a shadow. The ego clings to wealth, achievements, titles, thinking these will protect it from humiliation and death. But in reality, the only true wealth is the wealth of the heart. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Wealth is not in having many possessions. Rather, true wealth is the richness of the soul." To the seeker, this verse whispers, do not be deceived. What you hold in your hand is temporary, but what you hold in your heart travels with you to eternity. The gold in your coffers cannot quench the fire of ego, but one tear shed in humility before your Lord can extinguish oceans of flame. Verse 3. He will enter a fire of blazing flame. The Quran here uses a powerful play on words. Abu Lahab, the father of flame, will be thrown into a flame. The fire he carried within himself, the fire of arrogance and enmity, will become his eternal environment. Sufis teach that hell begins in the heart. When the heart burns with envy, hatred, greed, and arrogance, it is already tasting the fire of Jahannam. Abu Lahab's punishment is not arbitrary. It is the manifestation of what he carried inside. The fire within became the fire without. For the seeker, this verse is a mirror. Every time anger consumes us, every time jealousy poisons our hearts, every time arrogance blinds us, we are tasting a spark of the same fire. But every time we forgive, every time we love, every time we bow in humility, we extinguish those flames and draw closer to the coolness of divine mercy. Verse 4. And his wife, the carrier of firewood. Abu Lahab's wife, Jamil, was a partner in his enmity against the Prophet, peace be upon him. She would carry thorns and throw them on his path. The Quran describes her as the carrier of firewood, one who fuels the fire of hatred. On the inner level, the wife of Abu Lahab represents the forces that feed the ego's flame. Just as Abu Lahab symbolizes the arrogant self, his wife symbolizes the thoughts, whispers, and habits that feed it. The gossip, the resentment, the grudges, the constant fueling of inner fire. Every human has an jamil inside, that tendency to carry wood of negativity, to keep grudges alive, to whisper against others, to fuel anger with thoughts of revenge. The Quran warns, if you keep carrying wood, do not be surprised when you find yourself trapped in the very fire you have sustained. Verse 5, in her neck is a rope of twisted fiber. The image is striking. Jamil, once proud wearing necklaces of gold, is now seen in hell with a rope of rough fiber choking her neck. What she used to adorn herself with becomes her humiliation. Sufis see this as the final unveiling. Whatever we worship in this world becomes our chain in the next. If we wear pride around our neck, it will strangle us. If we wear arrogance, it will drag us down. But if we wear humility, it will become our crown in the hereafter. The rope of twisted fiber also symbolizes the bondage of desires. Each desire, each attachment to dunya, becomes a strand. Alone it may seem weak, but woven together, they form a chain that imprisons the soul. Liberation comes only when the seeker breaks these ropes through surrender to the divine beloved. The surah as a whole. Surah Al-Masad is not just a condemnation of two historical figures. It is a warning, a mirror, a lesson. Abu Lahab and his wife represent the inner enemies of the soul, the burning ego and the constant fueling of its fire. The surah tells us that if we allow these forces to dominate, our fate will mirror theirs. Yet hidden within this surah is also a secret of divine justice. Abu Lahab was of the Prophet's closest family, yet his kinship could not save him when he turned against truth. This teaches us that, on the day of judgment, it is not lineage, wealth, or connections that matter. Only the state of the heart. Closing reflections. Dear seeker, as you let these verses flow through you, do not see Abu Lahab and Jamil as distant figures locked in history. See them within yourself. Ask, where is the flame of Abu Lahab in me? Where am I carrying firewood? What ropes bind me? The Quran is not a book of stories, it is a book of unveiling. It unveils to you the secret of your own soul. Surah Al-Masad is a torch, warning you of the fire within, but also guiding you toward extinguishing it with the waters of love, humility, and remembrance of Allah. Let your hands be hands of service, not destruction. Let your wealth be wealth of the heart, not chains of greed. Let your flame be the flame of divine love, not the fire of ego. And let your adornment be humility, not arrogance. If you live this way, then every verse that cursed Abu Lahab will become a protection for you. Every fire will be cooled for you, and every rope of bondage will turn into a crown of light. So I ask you now, after listening to this surah through the lens of the soul, will you let the Abu Lahab within you live, or will you extinguish him with the light of remembrance?